Tonight, the Department of Justice is seeking to stop the prosecution of Native American citizens by local district attorneys. Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Naomi Kitt. Karen is off tonight. On Monday, the DOJ filed a lawsuit against DAs Matt Ballard and Carol Iskey. 2 News anchor Sharon Phillips explains the lawsuit and what it means for the prosecution of tribal cases moving forward.
The Department of Justice says that Oklahoma District Attorneys Matt Ballard and Carol Iskey do not have criminal jurisdiction over Native Americans in Indian country.
This is the most egregious example of federal overreach that I can think of. These aren't federal investigations. These are local investigations by the county sheriff's office, by the State Bureau of Narcotics. And for the federal government to come in and say that there's no state interest in that, it's offensive.
You may remember back in 2020, the Supreme Court ruled in McGirt versus Oklahoma that most of eastern Oklahoma is on tribal reservations. That limited state authority over crimes involving tribal members. But then in 2022, a ruling in the Castro Huerta case allowed states to prosecute non-natives committing crimes against tribal citizens on Native American land. More recently, in the case of the city of Tulsa versus O'Brien, Oklahoma courts ruled that the state has jurisdiction in some cases involving Native American defendants.
2 weeks ago, Oklahoma courts said that the state does have jurisdiction over some Native American defendants. And so we're moving forward with that. We're prosecuting cases against bad actors that need to be in jail and that need to be behind bars. And the state has an interest in that, and we're moving forward with that.
I pored over the documents in the lawsuit, and on page 14, the court filing states, by continuing to prosecute Indians, including non-member Indians in Indian country, despite overwhelming federal case law establishing that Oklahoma does not have jurisdiction over such cases, defendant has spurned federal Indian law and has itself created jurisdictional chaos.
If the federal government wants to come in and take over these cases, they can do the investigation. You don't see that happening. These are local investigations. This is local law enforcement. There's an absolute state interest in that.
The suit specifically lists cases his office filed against defendants Braden Bull, Tony Williams, and Eric Ashley. Their crimes include producing child porn, drug dealing, and child neglect.
These are cases that are the most egregious examples of crimes that you can imagine, and they wouldn't go prosecuted. We can see that in these specific cases. In these cases, nobody had filed, from the federal government had filed charges until my office stepped forward, stood in the gap, and took on offenders that needed to be in prison.
I reached out to Carol Iskey's office for comment as well, but have not heard back. Sharon Phillips, 2 News Oklahoma.